Julian Assange has been arrested by UK police with plans to extradite him to the US. Now, this video was set to go live and then this news just broke, so I say in the video that he has not been arrested yet, but of course, scratch that. He has since been arrested right before the video was set to go live. So, one thing that I did want to mention is that Cassandra Fairbanks claims that the men seen in the footage arresting Julian Assange were the men that were in the cars that she approached on several occasions. So keep that in mind. So, Ecuador has withdrawn the asylum status. From the Associated Press, breaking: Julian Assange's attorney says he's been arrested on US extradition request, as well as for breaching UK bail conditions. Man, is this what Donald Trump meant when he told us we were going to get tired of winning? Because I'm still not tired of winning. So when you watch the following video, keep in mind that Julian Assange has now been arrested, and it looks like he's going to be sent to the United States for who knows what. Maybe a congressional hearing. That would be fun.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Yes. I see that you know your judo well.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. They've got to start talking about WikiLeaks.
The wonder of WikiLeaks.
Oh, we love WikiLeaks. Boy, they have really, WikiLeaks. They have revealed a lot. WikiLeaks. That came out on WikiLeaks.
About a week ago, WikiLeaks publicly stated through Twitter, breaking: a high-level source within the Ecuadorian state has told at WikiLeaks that Julian Assange will be expelled within hours to days using the hashtag INA Papers offshore scandal as a pretext, and that it already has an agreement with the UK for his arrest. As of a week later, Mr. Assange is still in the Ecuadorian embassy, but the story has taken some interesting turns. Yesterday, WikiLeaks editor-in-chief held a press briefing on the new criminal case involving Julian Assange. In the news conference, they detail an attempt to spy and extort Mr. Assange, they being the Ecuadorian embassy themselves. WikiLeaks claimed that there is video and audio of Mr. Assange and his visitors that is being used as an attempt at extorting them, allegedly sharing logs and any other useful data they had to use against Mr. Assange, in which the WikiLeaks editor-in-chief described as an extensive spying operation. WikiLeaks also compared the situation to that of a Jim Carrey movie called The Truman Show, where a man's entire life is staged, including the strangers around him. It was a reference that I did not expect from WikiLeaks, of all people, to make in 2019. These allegations, however, are made even more peculiar when considering a video Cassandra Fairbanks posted to Twitter.
So that car that I tweeted about earlier that we thought was a cop car, it now has a spotlight pointed at the embassy. This car has been here for like 20 hours. How long are you guys going to be out here? How long do you guys plan on doing this? Hey, are you guys worried about being parked here for so long? Hi. I'm a journalist from Washington, D.C. I've already spoke to you guys twice before. You told me that you're not media, that you're not journalists. I'm trying to cover the covert operation against Julian Assange. You guys are the third round of people, at least, that's been sitting in this car in the last 20 hours. Can you please tell me how long you're planning to be out here? Are more people going to come take over for you after this? The Ecuadorian government has said that they might expel Julian Assange from the embassy. Are you waiting for that? How come you guys are watching him but you don't want to be watched yourself?
Considering how slow of a news week it has been, it is downright eerie how little coverage there has been on this. Sure, there are a couple of articles from CNN and ABC, but there has been little else. No field journalists outside the embassy, just protesters. No verified journalists on Twitter discussing this. No tweet by Donald Trump to bring greater awareness to it. It's just all so quiet. As far as I can tell, there are less than a dozen posts regarding this from verified journalists on Twitter, and in the footage, There are only 2 journalists that seem to be present, one being Miss Fairbanks herself.
Yes, we're media.
Media. Can I ask which media? Basically, the people.
Oh, I'm with Breitbart.
Breitbart! Breitbart! That's Breitbart! Breitbart. Perfect.
Gateway Pundit.
Gateway Pundit. Perfect. Thank you very much.
You must be wondering, where's President Trump in all of this? Somehow, President Trump has remained silent on the issue. One would think that he wouldn't be able to resist tweeting out about this.
This just came out. WikiLeaks. I love WikiLeaks. Amazing how nothing's secret today when you talk about the internet. WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. They've got to start talking about WikiLeaks.
The wonder of WikiLeaks.
Oh, we love WikiLeaks. Boy, they have really WikiLeaks. They have revealed a lot. WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. That came out on WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks alleges that Ecuadorian officials 1. Spied on his, Mr. Assange's, legal and medical visits, 2. Stole legal notes during the middle of a court hearing against them, 3. Secretly cooperated with the United States, and 4. Tried to extort him, Assange, for €3 million. Ms. Fairbanks also posted pictures of what appears to be surveillance equipment pointed at the embassy just down the street. Ms. Fairbanks also confronted who she believes to be some of the spies, trying to get them to comment on video.
Hiya, I'm with the media. We're interviewing members of the public about the situation at the Ecuadorian embassy. Do you guys have any opinions about Julian Assange?
Don't know anything about it.
Like, you know, WikiLeaks, right? You don't? You haven't heard of WikiLeaks?
No.
Never?
No. I don't want to be filmed though, so...
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Cheers.
Any opinions on WikiLeaks?
None at all.
You know who they are though, right?
What?
You know who they are though, right? Like, you've heard of WikiLeaks. So, have you been following the story or just not interested?
Not interested.
Fair enough. Okay, have a nice day.
To her credit, Miss Fairbanks tries to communicate with these people who are parked outside the embassy, but to no avail. She claims that they have rotated pairs of people around the clock, so that there is always a couple inside the car watching the embassy. There does seem to be something happening here, and considering how slow the news has been lately, it is just so weird that there aren't camera crews and reporters swarming the embassy in light of these developments. It's almost like everyone has been purposefully ignoring Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and the apparent disintegration of Mr. Assange's asylum. It's all so strange. According to Fidel Narvaez, a former consul at the Ecuadorian embassy, the government is clearly building a case to end Assange's asylum. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because of the international shame that will be attached to Ecuador if it does so. It seems certain that it is only a matter of time before Mr. Assange loses his asylum and this thing ramps up even more. To many of us, it is clear that the publication of John Podesta's emails may have handed Trump the election on a silver platter. One must also not forget about the Bernie people who felt scorned by the DNC's staged election. If you don't recall, Bernie won the primary, but they chose Hillary instead. When taken to court later on, lawyers from the DNC claimed that they are a private business and they don't have to honor the results of the primary election. That's how bad things really are, by the way. These talking heads and bloggers that fly the banner of journalism are nothing more than gossip hounds to keep the masses disillusioned with the idea of democratic power. They speak of the supposed value of giving power to the everyman, while also actively working to undermine them. As we have seen, they are the propagandic arm of the oligarchs, who still remain in the shadows as a man who greatly inconvenienced them is getting smudged out. The painting is being recreated, but without him in it. Funny, they always told me the good guys won when I was a kid. Maybe they were wrong. In either case, here it is, your moment of clarity.
Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos fresh days. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the the Fresh Maker.